What's up, Whoopers? It's Vice here, and I'm going to talk to you about a deck that I've been working on. Actually, 3 decks that I've been working on, but we'll get to that in a second. So, it's Zoroark, and of course, Zoroark's been around for quite a while. It came out in Evolving Skies, has this very exciting ability here, Phantom Transformation. Once during your turn, you may choose a Stage 1 Pokemon, except Zoroark, from your discard pile. If you do, discard this Pokemon or attached cards and put the chosen Pokemon in its place. So the really appealing thing about Zoroark is that it can be whatever Pokemon you have available in your discard pile, provided that the Stage 1, at a moment's notice. So you can sort of respond to the state of play as it transpires in front of you, and at the very last moment, make the decision that you need, make it become the Pokemon that you need to deal with whatever strategy your opponent's cooking up. So if they're trying to beat you one way, well then hopefully you've built your list in such a way that it can deal with whatever your opponent is doing. Or in another way to look at it is that you can sort of look at the matchup more holistically and decide which sort of collection of Pokemon would be most appropriate for whatever your opponent is doing. So for example, if you're up against Pokemon with very high HP, you could transform into something like Raticate and bring it all the way back down to 10. Or maybe your opponent is trying to build a wide board of Pokemon, such as might be the case in a Lost Box matchup. Well, you've got cards like Electivire that go wide with its damage. So I'm going to go through some of the options in this list, which is probably my I guess like most versatile, or it's got like the most out there ideas when it comes to how it wants to be played. And I'll also cover a couple of other approaches to the list and why I've decided to push the archetype in those directions. So this list that you can see over here is one that I played on the weekend in a League Cup. I didn't do very well, unfortunately. I went 2 wins, 3 losses, and a draw. Unfortunately, I just made a few mistakes at the end of some of my matches, and that can be enough to cost you against the likes of Mightyena and other top-tier meta decks. So it's also quite weak to Chen PAL with canceling Cologne. That can be really bad for you. But look, other than that, I really believe in the deck. It's not up there when you look at metagame tier lists and whatnot, but I've been enjoying this deck a lot on stream, and I highly encourage you to give it a go and see what it's about. So, speaking of what it's about, this deck, of course, you've got the 4/4 Zoroark, and then you've got a litany of Pokemon to not only help you set up, but also be the Pokemon that you Phantom transform into. So, we'll go over the Pokemon that you could transform into and why and what purpose they have, and then I'll move on to the engine and then finally the trainers and the energy. So 4/4 Zoroark, of course, and then let's go through the options. So you've got Electivire here, high voltage current, 50 to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So first of all, high energy cost on the high voltage current. The whole idea here, of course, is to use reversal energy to power up these attacks you wouldn't normally be able to power up without appropriate engine around it. So that's why you're able to build a strategy around, for example, high voltage current. Now you might be thinking, well, Manaphy is in a lot of decks these days. High voltage current doesn't really get a look in all the time. Well, the thing is many players don't know if they need to bench the Manaphy or not. I see Electivire as the thing that forces them to bench the Manaphy, and the thing that punishes them if they don't. Sometimes there are positions where you need to make up multiple turns. Electivire is one of those cards that allows you to do that, because compared to some of its other damage spread partners in crime, it does a lot. And if your opponent doesn't have the Manaphy in play for whatever reason, the Electivire comes in and really punishes that position. So, and helps you catch up multiple turns. Now, your other damage spread sort of package that you've got there, and in a position where your opponent might be leaning on Manaphy, and let's say it's a board like a Mightyena board where, there's a lot of low HP Pokemon. First of all, you got this Driftblim. Curse Spreading is here to put damage counters very exactly on your opponent's board. And also in the mid-game, it's good at knocking out just a specific number of Pokemon instead of knocking, knocking out so many Pokemon that you end up taking the lead accidentally, or putting yourself in a position where reversal energy is going to be turned off or not a factor, right? So that's something to remember with Drifblim. The idea behind putting a damage counter on everything, amongst its other sort of useful effects in the deck, is also to be able to get this Braviary online, and you start using Eerie Cry to annihilate an opponent's board of small HP Pokemon. You know, if they've got Sableye and Comfey and cards like that, Eerie Cry will get rid of them in, you know, a couple of turns flat if you set up their board appropriately. And so that's like the main damage spread component of the deck. And then kind of tying in with it is this Raticate, right? So Raticate has the attack Super Fang, puts your opponent's Pokemon at 10 HP. So you put like a big HP Pokemon, like let's say Giratina V-Star, or maybe a Charizard EX, which has a very colossal amount of HP, right? Puts it all the way down at 10. And then you can put yourself in a position where Curse Spreading, maybe you put 10 on the Charizard, and maybe 6 on a Charmander, or 7 on a Manaphy, or whatever, okay, to sort of fix up that prize position. You got to remember with this deck that one of your late game win conditions, one of several to be honest, is the Slowbro, right? Twilight Inspiration. Use this attack when your opponent's got 1 prize left to take, and you've still got, ideally you've still got 2, right? Because you want this to be the last attack of the game. Twilight Inspiration, and you jump very suddenly from 2 prizes remaining to 0 by using this attack right at the very end of the game. Now, on the other front of this deck, the card that allows you to lean forward, so to speak, is Scizor. So Punishing Scissors can do a lot of damage, and unlike the other Pokemon which are relying on the reversals, I have included just 1 Metal Energy in this build in order to facilitate the Scizor. It's not inconceivable to think that you'll get that Metal Energy towards the end of the game, and in a position where, you know, you're at that 2-2 stage and your opponent's not really trying to break through to the 1 prize barrier. So if they hang back and decide that they want to like think about it for a sec, or maybe they want to set themselves up for a better position, Scizor can force the situation and attack forward if your opponent is trying to hang back sort of at any position of the game. Now, the problem with that strategy in this deck is that it doesn't really have the energy available to it to facilitate Scizor over multiple turns, but other builds of this deck that I've done do include the energy required. And so, look, you've got the 3-3-1 line of Gallade there to help you set up. Kirlia, of course, Refinement gets your Pokemon into the discard pile. Gallade's there to get supporters in the later game, and Swirling Slice is not bad either. You've got some interesting options in the Mightyena, of course. 160 damage is very good into Mew VMAX, which Hustlebark allows you to attack for free into, but also just even against a Gardevoir EX, Wild Tackle is doing 320, so pretty valuable there. And I just want to revisit the Scizor because it's Metal type. Even in when you're trying to attack from a losing position, you can just attach to the reversal energy and attack into things like the Chen PAL and maybe a Zacian V or what have you. Okay, so we're getting to the end of the Pokemon here. I've got some interesting ideas. I've got the Sneasler here, and in this build, the idea was that, okay, often Sableye players will try and drag something active and do the thing that most other decks can't do against us, which is knock out 2 Pokemon in one go. So when the prizes are at 2-2, they'll drag up something like a Gallade. And so what I've done is I've included the Sneasler in this build. Carry and Climb allows you to retreat that Pokemon and sort of retreat unexpectedly, right? And it's always available and at the ready because it's in your discard pile ready to be transformed into. And then finally, what are our remaining options? So for the late game, we've got Slowbro, Twilight Inspiration, but the other like interesting one here is this Strange Behavior Slowbro. And so this is another idea that's in here to help us break the Sableye strategy of trying to take 2 prizes in one go and skipping the one prize turn that allows us to win with Twilight Inspiration. So Strange Behavior absorbs the damage from multiple Pokemon onto itself, forces the KO, which is an interesting thing that Slowbro can do. You know, you could use it in the mid game to force yourself behind, but more importantly, in that 2-2 scenario, Strange Behavior knock itself out and then allow you to Twilight Inspiration for the win. I've got a litany of trainers in here. They're all pretty sensible, I think. Something I do want to touch on is the Thornton. Thornton is really, really good. I find that there's a lot of positions where your opponent is trying to be very precise with their KOs, shall we say, and they're often not knocking out things like the Basculin and leaving it till the very end. You got to worry, Basculin only has 50 HP, so 50 plus 70 is 120. That's a double KO from the Sableye. So Thornton allows you to fix your bench when your opponent won't fix it for you. It's also a bit of a surprise play because your opponent will think, great, I've taken all the Zorua off the bench. I don't have to worry about Zoroark on the following turn and then attack. And then you just come in with the Thornton, replace something like your Manaphy into a Zorua, and then you get the win unexpectedly off it as well. And honestly, I want to find this card a place in my other builds too, which... you know, I've had to cut it for different reasons. There are like 20, 30 cards that would be great in this deck. You have to make a choice. In this build, I chose to play Thornton. And it's good, and I like it. But it's a bit fragile, and your opponent can dictate the pace of play just a little bit too much for my liking. So, after the weekend, I went into a couple of different builds and have started testing it. And I've leaned away from the damage placement sort of identity that this build has, and I've been testing this one quite a lot, and it's one that focuses on Scizor, a couple of counterbox options, so these are Pokemon that are able to hit weakness and take big KOs quite efficiently, as well as still retaining the double Slowbro strategy. So this one completely does away with the damage spread identity, and even the Raticate is out as well, because I don't sort of include the Pokemon that would be good for it. But it has been successful, and the reason why I think it's been successful is because we now run 2 Scizor, and we run a whopping 4 basic Metal Energy, and it allows us to lean forward throughout the game, and then come back from behind if needed, on the back of really powerful Pokemon like Cetitan here, doing 80 plus 140 more with Special Horn. And Scovillain here, which can do 90 and 90 more if it has a Fire Energy attached. Of course, Reversal Energy facilitating that requirement. So, very similar identity, but more aggressive, if you will, compared to the damage counter spread. The reason why the damage counter spread works is because, of course, you're not moving the game forward by taking prizes. Your opponent only has to take 1 prize for you to then start initiating strategy with this deck, and you'll never be winning until you win, if that makes sense, with that version. With this version, it's very much okay and very much expected that you'll take a forward-leaning strategy and start taking KOs aggressively. I've got 3 Boss's Orders in this list and a Serena. So a lot of Boss's Orders action with this one and targeting down opponent's Pokemon, and the reason is because of that forward-leaning identity that this Scizor counterbox Zoroark deck has. You've still got the double Slowbro, you've still got this strategy at play, allowing you to break an endgame stalemate with Strange Behavior, and honestly being useful in matchups where your opponent is able to spread damage to the bench and maybe collect a double KO in some positions. So and I'll go very, very quickly. This is a bit more of a hybrid approach where you've got elements of both. I've got 4 Metal Energy and a Scizor package here with the 1-2. But I also still have like the Raticate and the Driftblim and the Electivire in here as well. So cutting some ideas like the Strange Behavior Slowbro and things like that. So look, all I'm trying to say is that you can very much position the list to deal with the strategies and the metagames that you're encountering. And look, I encourage you to pick it up, try a couple of games, cut the cards you think aren't necessary, add the cards that you think are. And it's very satisfying to play. Because online ranked is a best of one strategy, or scenario rather, your opponent doesn't know what to expect out of us when we play this deck. So you can definitely come in and steal games from players that don't have a broad knowledge of the card pool and don't know what to expect out of the archetype. So look, I've got a game coming up which will hopefully demonstrate the breadth of what the Scizor Zoroark deck can do, and I hope you enjoy. If you like decks that look like this, please consider subscribing to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you in the next live stream or video. So take care and goodbye. Thanks all. Bye. Melmetal honestly almost feels like a deck that you should be building independently of this strategy. Like, build a deck around Melmetal. You know what I mean? It does seem good, though, even as a one-of. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. This is a pretty good hand, huh? I'm thinking Level Ball here because our opponent almost certainly hits us with... almost certainly hits us with an escape rope next turn. I can feel it. I almost want to switch preemptively so they get punished for using escape rope, you know? Hey, Tiger. Yeah, not so much of a master. Audio is very crisp. That's because I took your feedback into consideration from yesterday, Dugong, and paid a bit of attention of the positioning of the microphone. Now it's like right in front of me. So I better let the world know that we're live. Live now. Already ahead of you, Emerald. Already ahead of you. But thank you kindly for the reminder. It's not a bad hand to play out, especially if they continue to fill their board. There's a fourth ability Pokemon. Can we get a fifth? Can we get a fifth one? Ooh! Ooh! Basculin! Yeah, there we go. There we go, Basculin. Doing the work for us. Fantastic opening turn for us. Fantastic. Yep. And now my opponent's struggling with the prize selection, but that's fine. I know. I know. It can be a struggle. All right. Our turn. Let's go. So, we got a pretty good Zinnia here. Probably means discarding the Switch. I sort of value the boss's orders. I don't really value the Switch because we've got more than one in the deck. We got Zoroark. Thank you. This one, well, I guess we just go punishing scissors here. I guess we just do that. It's really difficult because I want to Ultra Ball for Kirlia, but I also really need Manaphy ASAP as well. They're already at 5 in the Lost Zone, so if I'm not looking for Manaphy here, I think I'm trolling. So it might be a slow setup on the bench, but at the very least, we can transform into the Scizor. Reversal. Right. Punishing Scissors. Take a KO. 2 waters? Uh-oh. Still, let's just get Manaphy down and see what happens, I guess. Make sure that they don't bamboozle us with 4 water energy. We'll just know not to replace it if they do target it down. And there's another water energy. Can we get a 4th? Can we get a 4th? That surely would be disgusting if they had 4. Surely you only run 3 water energy, if that, in a Lostina build, right? Alright, 11 cards in the hand. Not bad. If you're Lostina, you're feeling pretty happy about that, I think. So what's it gonna be? What are we up to? 9 in the lost zone? Yeesh. Really, bro? Can you do me like that? So this is this annoying moment where I don't really have a good answer for Giratina. I think I do just want to like preload it with damage though. Like take an opportunity to just land a reasonably hefty punishing scissors here, just given the cards that we have access to. It's a pity that we weren't able to get some Kirlia down, but it is what it is. We'll have to see. So they used up a switch card. It's too bad I don't have the Electivire, huh? In this build. This build forgoes it. Ah. The old nothing play, hey? Very good. Let's open with Artazon here and grab a Zorua and put it on the bench. Keep it at the ready. All water energy gone. Well, I don't know the contents of their deck. It might be a safe bet, though. It might be a safe bet. So this is a little annoying, isn't it? Because we're going to have to go into Kirlia and discard a boss's orders, which is not ideal. We do have a Serena in the deck, though, so... Oh, didn't sort of give me a chance to figure it out on my own. But yeah, let's have a look. We've got another boss, and a Serena must be prized, so... Unless I cut the Serena? No, I'm pretty sure I have it. And I haven't discarded it. Moonlight Shuriken no longer a threat? Well, you don't know. Emerald, maybe they've got a 4th one. Maybe they run Luminous Energy. Who knows? We'll continue to play around it regardless, and hopefully we're okay. Bit of a weak Miriam here, just for 3 Pokemon. Gallade and a Zoroark line, but that's okay. Lumitina? Yeah, well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's more likely than you think. We're going to have to attach an energy here and lean forward a bit, aren't we? So they're probably not expecting punishing scissors to be a thing. And they're probably expecting to be able to play from comfortably from that position, but present the metal energy, and now they're sort of forced onto the back foot. And this is why I've been investing time into this approach with Scizor. That's why I've been thinking about it. Because it makes it so your opponent cannot control the pace of the game that way. It forces the game to move forward. If they decide they want to relinquish the lead, fine. We'll just take the lead for ourselves, play forward with Scizor, and we've got some interesting choices in the deck to facilitate the end game, so to speak. Mainly, it's that strange behavior Slowbro to create some annoying positions for them. So let's see if they target down the Manaphy. If they target it down, I'm inclined not to bench it again. It will be sad if they present a fourth water energy. That seems very unlikely. But we'll see. Seems unlikely. So Sableye looking to try and set up a multi-prize turn. Fair enough. We can remain behind on prizes, but what we will do here is sort of erase the majority of this turn of what they're trying to set up by transforming into Slowbro. So even though we lose a prize in the process, it's fine. We can also grab Zoroark here just so that we've got something evolved. We're also going to have to try and find another Zorua, but Artazon will make that easy enough soon enough. So let's discard the Slowbro. There's Zorua. And so what we do now is... so we're going to transform. Right? We transform into the Slowbro. And then we say strange behavior. Can you say strange behavior? We're going to take all the damage counters off these Kirlias so they don't get a double KO. Like so. And then we're going to take them all off the Scizor. All the ones that we can. This is perfect. It puts it at 12. So it'll require a full Sableye turn if they want to make that happen. And we basically made it so there's only 20 damage remaining on the board from that turn. So I'm happy enough with that. That's not really the outcome they wanted from all of that. So, you know, boo-hoo to them. That's all I've got to say. We can evolve the Gallade. Do we want to do anything with the energy in our hand? Maybe not. Maybe we just go for punishing scissors. 110. Starting to get a little low on the damage output, but you know, as long as these Comfey remain in play, and if they have to bench something other than the Giratina to move the game forward, then you know. Hey, Sundera. Welcome back. Dre, what's going on? At what point does Zorobox turn into Scissorbox? It is a little bit like that, huh? How's the weekend? Yeah, the weekend was alright. So, on Saturday, I played in a League Cup. I didn't do very well in the League Cup. I went 2-3, 2 wins, 3 losses, and a draw in Swiss. And it was a League Cup. So, a bit disappointing to place where I did, but... you know, It is what it is. I feel fine about losing that way. You know, you can't help it sometimes. It just happens. I'm going to put the Zoroark in the lead. I think that's what I want to do. What deck did I play? I played Zoroark Sundraw. Played what I'm playing here, but way more techie and way more damage counter placement focused. I really wanted it to work, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. Alrighty. So Gallade being stuck in the active there is a bit of a bother for us. We only have the 1 double turbo in this list, so it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Also, kind of the reason... See, I mentioned wanting Raihan in the deck, and assuming we didn't get the switch off the top, Raihan gives us an out. But we got the switch, so no problem, right? Let's use Artazon here. See what's in the deck. We've got another Zorua, so let's put it down. And so the other thing Raihan can do is grab switch for us. So that's why I was... It's also like an out to like manually retreating as well. You could also do a thing where you Raihan for the double turbo, attach it to the Gallade, manually retreat it, and then your manual... You don't need to worry about the manual attachment because you Raihan to like this once you transform it into the attacker that you want. So yeah. Let's use Buddy Catch first. And just see what we can see. Let's see what we can see. Maybe it's an Iono turn. Maybe we really stick it to them. But yes, we've got the switch. And that's pretty cool. So we can do this. We can transform. We also put them in a little bit of danger, don't we? Because now we're in Twilight Inspiration range. Transform into the Scizor. We've got the basic metal. Thank you very much. And then we'll probably just hit them with the Iono. I'm thinking. Wait, can we do something like this first and grab ourselves a Zoroark? Grab you from the deck. All right, and just have Zoroark at the ready. So let's do that. And then we Iono. And we got a Cetitan there to help us dole out some heavy damage. Now what do we need? We possibly want to hold off on the Super Rod. Or maybe we want to cash out. I don't know. Let's just use Punishing Scissors and see what happens, huh? Okay. And there we go. Now let me catch up on chat. Sundara, how do I draw in Pokemon TCG? Take each other's prize cards at the same time because of effects or what? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Sundara. Do you mean... Oh, how do games finish in a tie? In a best-of-3 format, if both players have finished a game, like won a game each, and the third game is unfinished, then it'll end in a tie. There are like other ways as well. Taking prize cards at the same time is a way that a sudden death can be forced. So yeah. Basically, if both players have the same amount of lose conditions occur at the same time, then yeah, that can happen. Charizard, you got second in a tournament over the weekend. Fantastic. That's awesome. Congrats. We're gonna go Zoroark here. And now we're gonna try and just lock things in, right? We've got Arezu, so let's try and just thin the deck however we can. Ooh. Wait, how many cards are left in the deck? None? 13. Okay, well, that's a shame. Oh well. Slowbro. Let's do this. I'm gonna use a level ball. We're gonna have a look, right? So we've got these cards remaining. They're all pretty good. They're all pretty good. Boss's Orders, fantastic as well. Just using up some cards here, burning them. I guess we can buddy catch and not take the boss. And then we just punishing scissors. We got one prize left to take. We got enough Pokemon with abilities in play and enough gusting effects to make it happen. So, feeling pretty confident. We'll see. Hey, Haley. Welcome in. Welcome back. How you doing? Wait, Craigie. Yeah, work wasn't too bad. Kept me pretty busy throughout the day. Just unfortunate this week that I am working sort of later hours, so my streams aren't starting as early as I would like them.